Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the League of American Orchestras' first time online orientation for our national conference. And we have several firsts this year, being the first time we've had our national conference in Salt Lake City. And so I hope many of you have already registered, and some of you may be still considering to register. And I hope that after this conversation, if you haven't registered, you absolutely will. And if you have, you will even be more excited about attending the conference than you are right now. My name is David Styers. I'm the Director of Learning and Leadership Programs here at the League, and I'll have some other friends and colleagues joining us through the course of this webinar. We also would love to hear from you. So if in the chat you would like to put your name, affiliation, where you're joining us from, we would love to see that. And if you have any particular questions, feel free to use the Q&A function, and we will have plenty of time to get to questions at the end of our presentation, and also hear from you about what you find most effective in attending conferences and getting the most out of these experiences. So again, I wanted to start today with who is joining us. So I'm going to launch a poll just to get us started so that we have a sense of who is on the call. And again, on our poll today, we have three questions. One is, what is your role with an orchestra, whether you're an executive director, staff member, conductor, musician, a board member, or volunteer, whether you're one of our many valued business partners, we'll talk more about and their role as exhibitors at our conference, or maybe a composer, a student, or maybe there's another affiliation. Also, we'd love to get a sense of your length of time in the orchestra field, whether you're relatively new or have been around for a while, and also the number of league conferences that you have attended, whether this is your first time, and we'd be very excited to see you, or whether you've been to many conferences over the years. I attended my first conference in 1992 and have been going probably to a dozen or more conferences over the course of the past couple of decades, and very excited again to be having our conference for the very first time in Salt Lake City, hosted by the Utah Symphony and Utah Opera. So hopefully everyone's had a chance to check off on those three questions. So my colleague Maria, if you want to close the poll and then share the results, we'll get a sense of who's on the call today.
David, I will just wait 30 seconds as people are still answering question 2 and 3.
Okay, great. And again, we have been having our conferences. This will be our 80th national conference. The League was founded in 1942, and in the early years, there was a conference about every other year. So our anniversary date and our number of conferences don't completely align, but we're excited to be, again, having this 80th national conference in Salt Lake City. And we'll be hearing from our host orchestra in just a few minutes as well.
Okay, I will close the polls right now.
Thank you, Maria. Great. Well, we have a good spectrum across different areas, and thrilled to see, and not surprising, the number of staff members and executive directors. And in a few moments, this will actually show up in who attends the conference typically. So keep some of these statistics in mind. And then we also have people who've been in the field for many years. So thank you for joining us for this conference, particularly those who've been to conferences before. And it's great to see so many first-timers here. I will admit, I looked through the list and I saw a few names I recognized from previous conferences, but saw lots of new names, and we're always thrilled to have you as a first-time participant in our conference. Again, this orientation online is a new innovation this year. We typically try to cram this information to 30 minutes right before the start of the conference. And so what we wanted to do this year is do this orientation online. And then for the very beginning of conference, from about 12:30 to 1 o'clock on that Wednesday afternoon, do a first timers more social gathering where you can get to know people at the very beginning of a conference, particularly if you may be not only attending the conference for the first time, but also not know many people yet at the conference. But hopefully at the end of the conference, you'll have a large group of new friends that you can network with and see at future conferences as well. So I will go ahead and reshare my screen. And also make sure that you bring your business cards or have your phone ready to tap so that you can exchange information. But we'll also show in our conference app that you can easily message people and have information about conference delegates from there as well. So again, it gives me great pleasure to say, again, our conference is being hosted by the Utah Symphony, and we are delighted to have with us today from the Utah Symphony, Meredith, Kimball, Laing. And so thank you so much, Meredith. And if you'd like to introduce yourself and how long you've been with the Utah Symphony and what makes not only Utah Symphony great, but why coming to Salt Lake City is great as well for our national conference.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, David. As David mentioned, I'm Meredith. I am VP of Marketing and Communications with Utah Symphony, Utah Opera. I have been here for almost 4 years. I was with several orchestras prior, most recently the North Carolina Symphony before I was here. And I'm thrilled to be here in Utah. We have a very unique organization, of course, being both symphony and opera, something we're very proud of. And most importantly, we're so excited to have you here to hear our orchestra and to explore our beautiful city. I'm sure for many of you, it might be your first visit to Salt Lake City. It certainly was my first time in Salt Lake when I came here for the job opportunity. And I remember really vividly the first time that I flew out and the plane started to descend and the mountains came into view and just how stunning it was and the sense of the wonder there. So my first unofficial tip would be as you fly out, try to see if you can get a window seat if you can. But being a transplant to Salt Lake City in Utah, I certainly know there can be a lot of questions, some misconceptions. So probably first and foremost being, yes, you can get a drink, you can get coffee here. So, you'll be sure to enjoy all the things you're accustomed to in any other city. So with that, I have 5 little tips on what to expect and things to maybe do, my own personal recommendations for your time in Salt Lake. So number 1 is bring your ID to every restaurant you go to, any bar you enter, even if you don't plan to have a drink, even if you have gray hair, I promise you, bring that ID. They will check it at the door before you set a foot inside. It is the law here. So keep that handy. Number 2, it will be hot. Yes, Utah is known for the snow, but it also is a desert climate. It'll easily be, I would expect, in the 90s by the time the conference rolls around. With the dry air, though, it does cool off quite a bit at night. So also keep a sweater or jacket handy. Number 3, our light rail system TRAX is completely free within the city limits, and it's very easy to use. There's a stop that's accessible really right from the conference hotel and across from our concert venue. That's also right there, Bravenel Hall. And on that note, number 4, I would really encourage, if your schedule allows, take advantage maybe of TRAX to explore some neighborhoods that are maybe a little outside of that downtown proper area. Like a lot of cities, you'll find that like once you get outside of downtown proper, you find quite a bit more character in those neighborhoods in the city. My top suggestions would be the Sugar House neighborhood. You'll find they have like a rare bookstore there, some quirky coffee shops and boutiques. The Central Ninth area, you will find the James Beard award-winning cocktail bar Water Witch, and the Maven District, which is all female women-owned businesses. And it's a very up-and-coming neighborhood. So number 5, my own quick recommendations for a couple can't miss things that really are right at your fingertips by the Conference Hotel in Abravanel Hall. Definitely check out the Utah Museum of Contemporary Art, which is right next to Abravanel Hall. It's a small but beautiful museum. You can easily, it's very manageable to enjoy the entire museum in a relatively short amount of time, so that's a great option. And the Ivy and the Barley is delicious for food, cocktails, a glass of wine. Also has a gorgeous patio, which in my mind is just what all of us want in summer. So that's my personal touch being here in Utah for a few years. And again, we are really just so thrilled to have everybody here to host, to connect, and to show all that makes our organization and orchestra wonderful. And can't wait for you to enjoy our city.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Meredith. We are, again, so excited to have the Utah Symphony Utah Opera hosting us this year. And as Meredith said, the track system is so easy that literally when you step out of the airport, look left, and you will see the light rail station. And it's like, I think $2.50 will get you right downtown, and you will get off at the Temple Square stop. And to the left will be Temple Square, and to the right will be the Maurice Abravanel Hall. And then at the end of that block will be our Hyatt Hotel, which is very visible, and we'll talk about that in a few moments. And so getting around is very easy. For historical reasons, the streets in Salt Lake are very, very wide. And so the sun can be very bright and, as Meredith said, hot in the day. And so if you plan to spend a lot of time outside, please bring sunscreen or something, because it is not a lot of shade right downtown. And being somewhat in the desert as a dry climate, and also in the mountains as a high elevation, please drink lots of water. And so if you have any past experience with altitude sickness, take preparations. Drinking water is the best thing you can do. So from the moment you land and all the time you're there, drink lots of water and maybe limit alcohol consumption just to manage any uneasiness being, again, in a dry desert climate at a very high altitude. But again, it is an amazing place. And as Meredith said, as you arrive, not only to enjoy the Utah Symphony, hopefully, again, you will be there to enjoy the host city. And we have on our conference website the things to do in Salt Lake City. And if you have never been there before, this is what you have to look forward to, because this is not CGI. I mean, it is one of the most beautiful settings of any city I have ever been to. And I've been going in and out visiting Salt Lake for almost 40 years. And I'm still always amazed at how beautiful it is. And it looks like the mountains are right there, and they are. You can practically hike from downtown into the mountains by the state capitol. It's just a very, very beautiful place. And we will be in the heart of it in our conference location. So that's some of the things about Salt Lake City as our host location for the conference this year. And now I want to talk about sort of an overview for the conference, since we have several first-timers here, to give you a sense of what to expect. And also, we have some changes this year. So for people who've been to several conferences, you'll see some things that are different than they have been in the past. So again, if you remember those statistics from our poll, it's not far off of who's on this call is about who attends conference. So about 85% of our delegates come from orchestras. And so about 65% are executive directors and staff. Now about 65%, about a quarter executive directors, and about 3/4 are staff. We have about 5% who are conductors and musicians, and about 15% who are board members and volunteers. Again, we'll talk more about our business partners. They make about 10% of our conference. And then we have about 5% who are composers and students and other delegates, some international orchestras. And so we're excited to welcome everyone to Salt Lake City. And you may be wondering, who is attending the conference here? As of a few seconds ago, we had 929 registrants. I know we got one new one today since I looked this morning, and they will continue to come in over the next 3 weeks as we get closer and closer, and we'll also get closer to our usual 1,000 registration mark. And you can find out who's coming to conference early on our website. By every week, we'll post a new PDF of who will be attending. And again, in a few minutes, when we get to the app, you'll be able to search people on the app as well. But we also have the PDF list on our conference website. Then also, I wondered if you would share in the chat if you have any particular goals that you have been wanting to accomplish by attending the conference. Would anybody like to chat any of your own conference goals, anything you would like to say? Hopefully, for many of you, it's making new friends. This is a true story. I was at a conference in 2001 in a reception line. I started talking to the gentleman behind me, and 15 years later, I was best man in his wedding. And so you never know who you're going to meet at a conference and someone who may become one of your best friends. So certainly seeing your Office of Finance buddies, the networking, learning new info, meeting other staff, particularly if you only have staff team of 5. Again, networking, getting fundraising ideas, and networking and learning more about music director searches. Great. I will say in our post-conference evaluations, networking is always the #1 thing that people get the most out of our conference. Setting new professional goals and meeting fellow mid-level fundraisers, collaborate on education programming ideas, again, networking, getting your first job in the industry, and a lot of business happens at our conference in terms of our artist managers are there meeting with orchestras about scheduling guest artists. People are conducting in real-time job interviews. So a lot of things are happening around the conference as well. These are wonderful ideas. Thanks for adding these here. Yeah, again, the networking, meeting people with similar interests, meeting artistic department peers, and certainly, again, meeting the artist managers. They will be very excited to meet you as well. And again, we're still somewhat in a post-COVID world this is our 4th conference. And since coming back live, and people are still meeting people for the first time in person, particularly as we continue to do so much like right now on Zoom. Yeah, meeting your people of similar budget size and peers, learning from other organizations. And again, I see fundraising as a major theme here as well, which is not surprising given the climate that we are in right now. Great attending pre-conference seminars, and the Music of Wellness, we'll be talking about those activities coming up. Again, connecting with other orchestras, new ideas for marketing, inspiration. It is something that we always want people to leave inspired. We know you are in challenging jobs, but we want to hopefully help you find people that you know that you are not alone. Every orchestra is facing very similar challenges, and that this is an opportunity to come together, to talk about those challenges and think through solutions, and have colleagues to call upon and leave inspired by the possibilities for the future. And that is one reason the League continues to do this conference every year, because we feel it's so important for this in-person gathering. So again, we look forward to meeting all of you in Salt Lake City in a few weeks. And I'll just, again, give you another sort of list of potential conference goals that you should have. So again, as many of you said, meeting people in your constituency, affinity groups, geography and budget size. Again, the sharing of effective business practices and building healthy cultures, leadership development is a big part of our conference. Really having conversations about the sustainable future of orchestras, and how they are both artistically creative and reflect their communities. Hopefully you'll be coming to our concerts, and we'll talk about those in a few minutes. And also I'll say that we are wanting our conference to be more participatory from you. And so that this is not just a place that you come and listen, but this is a place that you can come and contribute. But we also want to make sure that contributions are done respectfully, and we have participation guidelines on our website as well. So thank you again for your input, and I'll look forward to collecting that chat for our own future planning as well. Again, your home at the conference will be the Hyatt Regency Salt Lake City. It is there in the picture, and the silver building. It has this round corner. It sits next to the Salt Palace, which is the convention center in Salt Lake City. And if it looks like a brand new hotel, it is. I think we practically signed the contract for it 3 years ago as they were even finishing construction. It is very beautiful on the inside, and again, perfectly situated right in the heart of downtown, easy walking distance to lots of restaurants. There's a wonderful outdoor shopping mall that's just literally across the street. And so and easy distance to explore Temple Square. And so we hope you will enjoy this conference location. After you get checked in, come to our registration desk once the hours are open. It'll be located on the second level in Salt Lake Ballroom A and B. Also in the hotel, we're trying to make sure you have your needs met. We'll have a quiet room in the Zion meeting room on level 5 if you just need to chill and relax for a few moments. And because 1,000 people running around the hotel can be very bustling, very energizing, but very bustling. It also has a beautiful 6th floor outdoor terrace that you sort of see in this picture by the pool. And so it's a lovely way, even within the hotel, just you can get outside on the 6th floor to an enormous terrace with beautiful views of mountains and the state capitol in the background. And we'll also have a nursing mother's room that you can get a key from our member services team at the registration desk. And if you are in need of anything, just go to registration, and our staff there will be able to help you. And then when you do check in at registration, you'll get your registration badge, which we hope that you will decorate with ribbons. So there'll be ribbons that you can put on. I think there's a first timer ribbon. There's different ribbons by affinity groups. And so please decorate your badge. You'll pick up a program book. So we do not put everything on our website in a program book, but we do a printed highlights. So you have easy access to a session name and the location. And then again, all the details will be in the app, which we will go through in a few moments. And then we also have a delegate bag for everyone as well, with a lot of swag and materials, particularly from our business partners. And then finally, your badge will have a QR code, which we will have volunteers at sessions that just sort of track attendance at different events. So don't get upset if a volunteer asks to scan your name badge, or be ready to have your name badge available to be scanned. And just like having your ID at all times, having your name badge is a good thing. You probably don't want to wear it as you're wandering around downtown, but keep it on your person in a pocket, just so that it's available when you need it when you're back in the hotel. Then again, we have nearly 70 business partners that will be exhibiting and sponsoring at the conference, and we'll have a huge exhibit area on the second level of the hotel. And so please visit them. They are looking forward to having conversations with you. We will have events in the exhibit hall with a reception on Wednesday afternoon. And we'll have networking breaks. We'll have coffee Friday morning. So lots of opportunities for you to mix and mingle with your fellow delegates and our business partners. Be sure to make appointments to schedule time with exhibitors, particularly those that you especially want to talk to, and you can even start doing that now when you see who's coming. And then also, there's sort of a tradition for decades of what we call communications crossroads, particularly in our previous analog world. If you want to bring season brochures or program books or CDs or any swag or materials from your orchestra, feel free to do that. We'll have some tables set up. You can display those for people to take, and feel free to borrow from other people, but it's just a great opportunity, particularly for those who want to see physical products, to see what other people are doing, graphic designs, etc., programming. So feel free to bring your materials to put out at our communications crossroads.
One other, if I could just hop in here, one other thing about the communications crossroads, just so everyone is aware, is if you do bring copies of brochures or swag or anything like that, it all gets thrown out if there's leftovers at the end of conference. So you would need to collect it on Friday, right around noon before the closing session gets started, if you do not want it disposed of. So please just take note of that as well. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Steve. And now, very excitedly, we get to that wonderful app in our conference work. And I am actually going to turn over our presentation to the League's Vice President of Marketing and Communications, Rachel Rossoff-Gallant, to walk you through our conference app. So thank you for joining us, Rachel.
Thank you, David. So here, I'm going to go ahead and put that link in the chat so that you can follow along with me if you'd like. And now I'm going to share my screen. Are you seeing my screen, David?
Yes, it looks great, Rachel. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right, great. So with this session, we are officially launching the conference app for this year. So you're welcome to go ahead and follow the instructions on this page to download it. To download it, we have direct links to the app in the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. You can also search for it using these words, 2025 National Conference. It should be the first thing that pops up if you use that exact search term. And then when you're logging in, you would use the email address that you used when registering. If you were with us last year or the year before and used the app, your password will not have changed, but you can always reset it if you don't remember it. And if you're brand new, then you're going to reset it in order to create this password. And then you'll be inside the app. The app, what's nice about the app that we use is that it works on mobile devices, but it also has the equivalent version for desktop. And so that's what I'm going to walk through now for this screen share. And so here we are inside the app, and I'm just going to shrink some things on my screen so that I can see exactly where I need to get to. Homepage, here's our countdown, just under 20 days, 19 days and 22 and a half hours until conference starts. I'm very excited. You can start planning your agenda right away. So on this left-hand menu, these are all of the left hand is all of the general links. So agenda, attendees, etc. As you go into the agenda and you add things to your agenda using these handy plus signs, or you can remove it by unchecking it, then you can go into this top area, this top menu over here, and click on your agenda. And now it'll show you just the things that you've added. And basically that's the difference between the menus on the left and on the top right. The top right is everything that's specific to you and things that you've done, whereas on the left, these are the general full information. So if you're in your agenda but you want to see things that you haven't added yet, you'll need to go back to the full agenda. You can browse by day. You can browse everything. You can filter by type of session, which David is going to go over the different types of sessions in a little while, so I'm not going to get into that now. But there are different ways to get through these. And then, you can go through and if you're thinking about going to a couple of different sessions in the same time slot, you don't want to forget, you can add all of them to your calendar. And then they'll be there when you go to your agenda. Now I go to June 13 and I've got, multiple insight sessions that I can choose from when I get to that day. If I decide, okay, I'm not going to have time, I know for sure I'm not going to go to building a compelling case, but I'm still considering the other ones, I can easily remove it and it disappears. Once you feel like you've got a pretty full agenda, this export calendar button is very handy. I tried it out earlier, and basically what it does is it prompts you to download an ICS file that you can then import into Outlook or your calendar of choice. And it'll do it in the correct time zone, in Mountain Time Zone, so that then once you're there, you don't have to adjust the times. So that's the agenda. And then I also want to show you attendees. So many of you listed in your goals, networking. And so this is a first step, is knowing who's coming to conference. So we have the PDFs on our website, but you can also go into the app and search through the attendee list here. It's sorted alphabetically. And in yours, it may be sorted by first name instead of last name. There's a place where you can change that in your settings. So those are the two options for sorting, is last name or first name. I have it as last name. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to search for David. So I want to make sure that I connect with him at conference. I've starred his name, so I can unstar that and restar, and that way he's now been added to my favorites. So again, this menu at the top is all of the things I've done. So here I'm going to go to my favorites, and there's David. And now if I go into his profile, I can send him a message. I'm just going to say hello. And he should get a notification in his app that I have sent him the message. If he has push notifications turned on, he may have gotten a pop-up that I was messaging him. So then, so this is an easy way to start the conversation. And then also in here, I have the option of scheduling a meeting. So if David and I have been chatting and we know that we want to get together for coffee one of the mornings, then I can hit schedule a meeting and I can update all of these details. I'm not going to do that right now, but I can put a particular location in here. I can add a note, looking forward to it. And then, so this is where I need to move the controls here so that I can, I apologize. My Zoom controls are getting in the way of me. I think this is the button I need. Let's see. Yes, I believe I just sent it to him. So now I can go into my inbox and I should see, yes. So I have now invited him to meet me for coffee, and he is accepted already. Thank you, David. So what's great about this is I go to my agenda and here it is. Here's our coffee automatically added. So it's really handy. The attendee list can also be searched by title. So this is why I was saying marketing earlier, because I was thinking about the title. So as the marketing VP for the League, I want to connect with other marketing folks who are attending conference. So now I can search for anybody with marketing in their title. If I want to connect with those from the host orchestra, I can search by company and search the word Utah. And now I'm going to get everybody from Utah Symphony and Utah Opera. So it's a very useful search tool and easy to connect with folks. Then we have other areas here that I'm not going to go into everything right now, but I encourage you to explore the speakers, the exhibitors, our sponsors and funders, so you can be favoriting folks in all of these different areas. Other things that the
Rachel,
app will...
there's a question about whether you
Yes.
can use the attendee list to communicate with a group of people.
I am not aware of any functionality for that. I think it's all one-on-one communications. So if there is a particular group that you want to get in touch with, for example, if you want to get in touch with all of the folks from your constituency who are attending, get in touch with us in member services. You can email member@americanorchestras.org and we'll figure out the best way to put you in touch. Most attendees have given permission to share their email address with other attendees. Not everybody has, so we have to make sure that we're honoring those preferences when connecting everybody. Thank you, David. So then the other things that you can do with the app, we have maps of the space and of some of the external places that we'll be going. So we have, you can see there's a downtown Salt Lake City map, and then the hall. We have a, you know, this showing where the hall is. And then we have maps of the hotel itself. So here is the this is what the exhibitor area is going to look like, and then we have each level and where the meeting rooms will be. So this is all we're fleshing all of this out right now. Expect more and more details and more connections across sections to be in the app over the next couple of weeks. This announcements tab is empty right now, but once we get to conference, when we have push notifications that we send out reminders, this is where you'll be able to find them. So if you don't have push notifications turned on, you can always go to the announcements tab, or if you missed something, you can go back to catch up. So an example of that is I know that Renee Fleming will be doing a book signing at one point. So I'm sure we'll be sending a reminder of that through the app, and then that will show up here. We also have an activity feed. This is very similar to what you would expect from a Facebook feed, where anybody can post. So all delegates are welcome. You click write something. You can add an image. So if you have a photo of yourself at conference that you want to share with everybody, you can do that. Or if you have a question or something you want to share, you can do that here. And then the participation guidelines that David mentioned, we've linked to directly from the app. We've done that with, so everything else that's here, these are all pages actually that exist already on leagueconference.org or on americanorchestras.org. But to make things easy for you, so you don't have to go back and forth between a browser and the app, we've gone ahead and embedded all of these right here in the app for you. So this is just to make it as easy as possible and as seamless as possible. And finally, I mentioned we're going to continue making updates right up until conference. And if you ever run into any issues or feel that you may not be seeing the most up-to-date information, you can hit this refresh button, and then you'll know that you're seeing the most up-to-date version of the app. If we make a big change, maybe a menu change, something like that, then you might see an update button at the top of the left menu. And so with that, I'm going to stop my screen share. And okay, I see in the chat that Steve gave the app URL. So if you run into any issues, member@americanorchestras.org is the email address. I'll put that in that chat too, and we'll be happy to walk you through it. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Rachel. And again, you'll find in the app everything you need for conference information, and then the functionality to help you with that networking and connections that you all discussed as one of your main goals at the conference. I now also wanted to share sort of our social media. So as you are doing your own postings about preparing to come for the conference, your experience at the conference, after the conference, so hashtag ORC 2025 or @ORC League. Please tag us, and we look forward to following your social during the conference. So we would love to hear how things are going for you, what you've really liked, take pictures, tag us, and we'd love to follow you on your social as well. Then also, we mentioned Renee Fleming, of course, is our opening keynote speaker, and we did not want to have someone coming to talk about health and wellness without providing some health and wellness activities during the conference. And so here are just some things that we are planning each day on the Wednesday evening, our social networking event will be a paint and sip that you'll be getting more information. This is sort of a brand new thing we've added. It will require some prior registration, but it's free to attend, and then we'll have a cash bar. And so thank you actually to Utah Symphony, Utah Opera for helping us put these together in just the past couple of weeks. Then on Thursday morning, we'll have a running group and walking group leaving the hotel at 6:30. And then finally at 6:30 on Friday morning, we'll have chair yoga and gentle stretching. So we want you to take care of yourself during the conference. And I would say that our dress code at the conference is sort of business casual. Do not feel like, and as Meredith said, it could be hot in the 90s. So we want people to be comfortable when they go outside, and also comfortable inside. So dressing in layers, particularly from the air conditioning of the hotel to the cooler evenings, and also wearing very comfortable shoes. It can be great guidelines because the hotel concrete floors can be very unforgiving, and walking around the exhibit hall and going to and from the session rooms. But again, our dress code has been pretty business casual for several years now, and definitely want you to be comfortable and take care of yourself during the conference. And again, if you have any need at any time, don't hesitate to contact us at the registration desk. Then just quickly, I want to go through some of the content of the conference. We have this meeting at a glance. This is on our website about beginning with pre-conference activities on Tuesday afternoon, the 10th. And I'll go through all of these as well, but sort of give you a sense of the flow. Continuing Wednesday morning. And then, as I mentioned, that first timer gathering at 12:30 on Wednesday afternoon for 30 minutes, just so people can meet up with one another. And then the flow of constituency meetings, that exhibitor and our alumni receptions, our opening sessions, evening activities. Then full day on Thursday with different open sessions, again, networking breaks. And a big change this year is there is no general session on the second day. We are only doing 2 general sessions, one at the opening, one at the closing, to give you more time to meet with your colleagues and have a somewhat substantial lunch break on that Thursday, so that you can do some of that networking over a meal or get together with people from your constituency or from your state or from your budget group size, just so you have opportunity to have that networking time. There'll also be a dinner break before the concert. I hope many of you have already gotten your tickets to the Utah Symphony concert that evening, followed by the tune-up party. And then finally, on Friday, we'll open with an exhibit hall coffee hour, 7:30, 8:30, a final open session block, final set of constituency meetings, and then the closing luncheon, an annual meeting, and we'll be done by 1:30. And so anyone who is still needing to get any of the dollar-signed activities, we're running up against some deadlines, but feel free to go to our registration page, and if you've already registered, you can see about adding them to your registration, and so that you can continue to add pre-conference web seminars or different ticketed events or things that need prior registration. And I would say for the Eden Festival, again, dress with layers, because when we leave the hotel early in the evening, like around 6 o'clock, it may be relatively warm, but after the sun sets and the concert ends around 9:30, it could be a little bit chilly. So thank you, Rachel, for putting in where you can modify your registration to add any of these events. And I will just say everything is being well subscribed. So we are very pleased that many of these additional activities that we encourage delegates to attend, that many people are. And so it's another great networking opportunity to be part of these as well. So again, we were just talking about Eden Festival concert. Again, that'll be Tuesday evening at this beautiful Tracy Aviary at Liberty Park. There'll be some bird show demonstrations. Your ticket provides you round trip transportation as well as the concert. And it's just a beautiful setting. And we're thrilled to have Clarissa Saad and Laura Downs and Alicia Lawyer and other wonderful artists curating that show from Cadenza artists. So we are excited about having this event on this Tuesday evening. And then the other concert is Thursday evening, the Utah Symphony concert and tune-up party at Maurice Abravanel Hall and Plaza. I hope many of you already know who Maurice Abravanel was. If you are not familiar with his name, do some research. Incredible musician and conductor, and was for 30 years the music director of the Utah Symphony, and somewhat built and put it on the map of the orchestra we know today. But fascinating, wonderful person. And so, and one of the few concert halls in the country named for a musician and a conductor. And so we're thrilled to have the historic preservation, saving the hall for future generations. And the tune-up party will be in the plaza that you see right there outside of the hall. You do not have to come to the concert to attend the tune-up party, but whether you come to the concert or not, be sure you have your name badge with you. Your name badge is sort of your ticket to the tune-up party. And also, if you notice in the picture, this red looking tower in the lobby, that is the Del Chihuly sculpture, the Olympic tower that he did for the 2002 Olympic Games in Salt Lake City. So be sure to check out Del Chihuly's sculpture in the lobby of the hall. And then also in terms of the thematic direction for the conference this year, we again have many of our pre-conference activities that we have providing this year 2 pre-conference seminars. Again, you're still welcome to register. One, our president and CEO, Simon Woods, will be leading on strategic planning. And then we were very fortunate that we had this pre-conference webinar planned about building collaborative relationships between management and musicians, and best practices and negotiations and labor relations that was going to be handled by the federal agency that provides that service. And even with the sad demise of that federal agency, we were able to find some former federal mediators to still continue offering that pre-conference seminar for us this year. So those will be both Tuesday afternoon as well as our education community engagement meeting. Again, the EDM Festival concert that evening. And then Wednesday morning, variety of things. The big thing open to everyone is the tech fair. And so for a couple of years now, we've been very successful in helping orchestras meet in one place a variety of vendors, whether ticketing, marketing, fundraising, whatever technology needs you might have. We have vendors who are interested in helping you understand their products, and they'll be doing short demo presentations, and we have a full calendar of that morning of who will be speaking when. So hopefully all of you are welcome to come to the tech fair. It is free for registrants, and we'll start with a breakfast that morning, and then the many different presentations. We'll also have our volunteers constituency meetings begin, and for our artistic constituencies, an open rehearsal at the hall. And then finally, our 2 big general sessions, the first on the afternoon of the first day. And you may think it's odd that we don't open with the opening session. And we've experimented the past couple of years with many different formats. There's some logistical reasons why it's easier to have the opening session in the hall later in the day from a scheduling standpoint. But we also have found that at 1 o'clock, instead of throwing you into a room with 1,000 delegates, let us put you in a smaller room in the hotel with the people who are within your constituency group, so that you get to see old friends very quickly, and you get to make new friends, particularly if this is your first time. And so we sort of start off small with the constituency meetings, then go into the exhibit reception, and then have the opening session. And we're thrilled this year at the hall to be giving our Gold Baton Award to Mayor Alsop, and the assistant conductor of the Utah Symphony, Jessica Rivero Altoriba, just happens to be one of the Takai Alsop conducting fellows. So it's a wonderful synergy, and we're thrilled to honor Maren for her many years as a champion of American orchestras, her tenure as music director of the Baltimore Symphony, and it's really exciting to finally be able to give the gold baton to Maren this year. And you'll learn some new things about Maren, even why it's even more special to be doing it in Salt Lake City. We're actually having 2 world premieres by the youth orchestra. The Utah Youth Symphony and Philharmonic will be performing a world premiere by Clarissa Saad, who will be the guest soloist, and by Quinn Mason, who will also be conducting. And then our opening keynote by Renee Fleming on the anthology Music in Mind. Some of you who follow Chorus America may see that she is actually keynoting the Chorus America conference in St. Louis the week before us. And so, and if anybody has seen all of Renee's great work in this area, you'll know she brings a wealth of her own personal experience and passion. And the anthology Music in Mind, many of you may have read since it came out a year ago. If you have a copy, feel free to bring it. We will have a bookseller there from the local community selling the book, and Renee will be doing a book signing during that lunch break on Thursday from 12:30 to 1. So if you would like a signed copy of the book, that will be possible during the conference as well. And again, we're skipping the second day general session to give you more time to network and meet with your peers. And then we're combining our closing session with lunch and the annual meeting. And please do stay for lunch. It is part of your conference registration. So lunch is free for everyone registered for the conference. And we have our new board chair, Alan Mason. This will be his first annual meeting to lead, and we are thrilled to have the Syrian clarinetist and composer Kenan Ahmed, who will be with us both in performance with the Utah Symphony pianist Jason Hardink, and Martha Gilmer, President CEO of the San Diego Symphony, will be interviewing Kenan to get his perspectives of the orchestra field, and particularly around the themes of home, freedom, and inclusion. So it'll be a very inspirational way to end the conference experience, and we look forward to everyone being with us. The other thing is we have about 24 different open sessions throughout the conference, and these are some of the broad focus areas we looked at this year. Many of these coming from both the League strategic plan and things that have been bubbling up over the past year or so from orchestras around not only audience development, equity, diversity, inclusion work, youth development, certainly finance and organizational sustainability, leadership, and again, the areas of music and health, environmental sustainability, and organizational culture. And in this year's conference, we sort of have 4 different types of open sessions. And you can see write-ups of these on our website about the insight sessions, or sort of the big overarching panel discussions of major topics and issues like music and health, like environmental sustainability, things that we have brought in experts to share information with you and to answer your questions. We also have on Thursday afternoon about 6 different critical conversations where we want you to become more of an active participant. We'll have maybe a 15-minute presentation to tee up a conversation around building volunteer programs or engaging musicians, or what work you need to do around advocacy. And so we look forward to a lot of small table discussions during our critical conversations. We have 2 workshops that will be more hands-on techniques and skills around building equity, diversity, inclusion, as well as organizational culture within your orchestra. And then finally, our business perspectives, again, an opportunity for our business partners and the exhibitors to have longer 75-minute sessions to talk about research they have been doing, best practices that they are finding from working with orchestras. And so we're very excited having a full set of business perspectives this year as well. And again, you can find everything on our website, the full schedule, and as Rachel showed in the agenda on the app. The final things I want to share is your individual constituency groups. So we have 22 different constituency meetings happening throughout the conference that are led by a league staff liaison, as well as constituency leadership committees. And each of the individual constituency agendas are uploaded onto the website at the constituency meetings section. And so you can find which constituency that you belong to and then what their agenda topics will be. And there's 3 sets of meetings. So there'll be a meeting from 1 to 2:30 on Wednesday afternoon, from 3:30 to 5:30 Thursday afternoon, and then at the close of the conference, just before the final lunch, from 10:15 to 11:45. And then finally, we have several affinity groups. We'll have a League Alumni Network reception for those who are alumni of our Essentials of Orchestra Management, our Emerging Leaders, our Orchestra Management Fellowship Program. That'll be on Wednesday afternoon. We have an LGBTQI plus reception Wednesday evening. The Social Networking Paint and Sip, again, that was mentioned as a prior registration Wednesday. And then on Thursday during that lunch block, again, the prior registration required for our allotted lunch for people of African, Latinx, Asian, Arab, Middle Eastern, and Native American descent. And then finally, it's League Giving Days. So the conference is the one time of the year that the League puts itself on the stage after helping our orchestra members with their presentations. This is our presentation, and we do ask that people think about making a donation to the League during our League Giving Days at the conference. And this year, we're particularly focusing on the every gift counts. It's not the amount that we're trying to raise, it's actually the number of donors that we would like at League Giving Days this year. And we would look forward to any contributions of any size from as many people as possible. And again, we'll have a donor engagement center on level 2 of the hotel near the exhibit hall area. Well, wonderful. Well, I have just at the top of the hour. So appreciate everyone being with us today. We can't wait to see all of you in 3 weeks in Salt Lake City. Again, let us know if we can be of any assistance in the meantime. Hope everyone has a great rest of this week and Memorial Day weekend. And thank you for all you do for your orchestras. And we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.